Howdy folks, and welcome back to Pool School. In today's episode, I'm going to teach you how to maintain your backwash valve so that you can have a trouble-free, smooth operation of your backwash valve year-round. What do you say we get to it? Okay, before we get started, I want to thank you once again for watching this video. Remind you to like it if you do, subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already, and please share my channel with everyone you know who owns a pool. Also, don't forget to check out my website, poolschooler.com. It'll come across the screen right here, poolschooler.com. It is full of exclusive members-only content that will help you save even more money servicing your pool yourself. Okay, so when it comes to backwash valve maintenance, there is one very, very important thing that if you do this, you will maintain your backwash valve for a lot of trouble-free use for many, many years. I have some clients who have had the same O-rings in their backwash valve, a piston-style backwash valve for a sand filter or a DE filter. Those are the only two filters that have backwash valves. And they've had those same O-rings in there for years, 4 or 5 years, okay? And again, the key is keep the O-rings lubricated. I'm gonna briefly show you how to do it. Before I show you how to do it, people always ask me, well, how often should I do it? As a general rule of thumb, okay, the amount of time between lubricating the O-rings is not as important as how it feels. So when you first lubricate your backwash valve O-rings, the backwash valve slides really nice and smooth and easy. Okay, and every subsequent time you backwash it, that thing's gonna slide, and that lubrication is gonna eventually start to wear down a little bit because of friction, and then you're gonna lose some of that lubrication. It's gonna slowly start to get a little bit stickier. When you feel it start to get a little stickier, that's the time that tells you it's time to re-lubricate those O-rings, okay? So that's the time to do it. Don't wait till you backwash your valve, your system again. Do it at that moment, okay? So you're gonna have a good thing of lube, and I'll show you what that is, and I'll show you how to do it right now. One thing that I always keep on hand when I do my lubricating of O-rings, I use a pair of gloves, okay? These are just nitrile gloves, and they protect my hands from the silicone lubricant. And then I particularly use this lubricant. This is called 820 Lube. It's my favorite. I'll put a link to get this product in the description below this video. All right, so I'm gonna put the gloves on and I'll be right with you. Okay, I got my gloves on. And the first thing I'm gonna do is make sure that there's no way that this pump is gonna turn on, so I've got it off. So I just make sure that this has no chances coming on and there's nothing on the tabs that is gonna set it to go off, okay? I come over to my backwash valve once I know that that's not gonna turn on. And I'm gonna unscrew the locking nut of this, paying attention to the position of the piston, okay? It's either down or it's up. And you notice it's really smooth because this one's already been lubricated, so I'm not gonna have to do a lot for this. I'm gonna unscrew this lock nut. And again, it should have been hand tight. You don't wanna crank it on too tight because you can crack it, and there's no need to crank it on that tight. If you have to crank it on too tight to prevent it from leaking, there's something wrong. Probably it's very dirty in there and you should clean that out. So I'm gonna unscrew this. And for my sake, or for my own preference, I'm gonna take this off of the valve. I'm gonna remember where it is, okay? And again, this is the piston, all right? So I'm gonna twist and just lift it right out. Notice it comes out really smoothly. And I want you to pay attention to this because this is really important. There's a tab right there. If you look at this back, I'm gonna set it up so it doesn't fall. Hopefully it won't fall. There's a tab right there. It sticks out, okay? Hopefully you can see it right there. I'll turn it sideways, you can see it. It sticks out there. There's a little notch that it fits into, in this case in the sleeve, it's right there. And that's gonna have to be back in there to make sure it fits right, okay? So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna do a quick inspection of the 3 O-rings. There's a top O-ring right here. It's very skinny. There's a middle O-ring, and then there's a bottom O-ring. Now there is a 4th O-ring and it's inside the handle here. And I typically don't even mess with that. If I need to lubricate that one, I'll go in there with some silicone spray, turn it over, and just silicone spray it, and that will kind of lubricate it for me. I've never had to replace those as long as I'm maintaining the backwash valve the way I'm talking to you about it right now, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some lube and I'm gonna lubricate the O-rings, all right? I'll show you really quick how I do it. Alrighty, so I can start at any one of these. I'm gonna start at the bottom one. I flipped it over, okay? And I'm just gonna squeeze out a good amount of this lube. And again, I use the 820 lube because I just like the thickness of it, and because it makes it last a lot longer. There's other lubes that are really thin and they don't tend to last as long, okay? So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna do the same thing on the middle O-ring. And again, I'll show you how much of a bead I put on there. It's a pretty decent amount. I'm squeezing pretty hard, getting a lot of that lubricant on the O-ring, okay? Just so you can see how much is on there. You see how much I got on there? It's quite a bit, and it's really goopy right now. I'm not quite done. And then I'm gonna take a very small amount and put the rest on top here. I'm not gonna go as much on here because the excess that I'm gonna get from the other two, I can use in this top one, all right? And again, I like wearing the gloves because it doesn't get me all goopy and everything. So I'm gonna take it now, and I'm gonna just kind of press it in and kind of work it into the grooves of the O-ring and the channel that it fits into. Hopefully you can see me doing this, right? You notice I kind of push it in there. I'm not going crazy, I'm just getting it into the grooves, all right? And then notice I've got a little bit of excess. So I'm just take that and take it right up to the next one and do that one. And again, it's pretty simple to do. I'm just kind of showing you the whole process so you know what I'm doing. Again, and I can also feel that O-ring and feel if there's anything chunky on it, if there's any cracks in it. Typically, there's no cracks in it if I'm maintaining it the way I am. Then I've got all this extra on my finger. I've got this here, and I'm just gonna take it and just smooth it around and smear it around that top O-ring. Another thing that might be helpful is always have a set of backwash valve O-rings for your particular backwash valve on hand in case you need to replace them. And if you do replace one, replace the whole set, because like I said, just like with grids, if one breaks, the other one's probably soon to go, okay? So once I've got that together, I can now put it back in to the sleeve. Now again, if I wanted to lubricate that other O-ring, I would twist it and open it up. I would spray some WD-40 in here, and I'd spray some right in here. And I just move it around, and that will lubricate that ring, okay? But I'm gonna keep it in the lock position. I'm gonna take my gloves off now, and then I'm gonna show you how I put this back in. Okay, so I'm ready to put the lubricated backwash valve back in. Again, I'm gonna pay attention to where that tab is. And again, where is my tab? It's right, it's hard to do this with one hand. It's right there. You can see it, okay? And then the notch for the tab is right here. So I'm gonna try and line those up to begin with. And I'm going to slide that backwash valve in. It should slide in really easy, and I'm going to kind of wiggle it and find that spot. I might have to twist it a little bit to find the exactness, but you'll see it drop in. There it goes, it dropped in. And don't worry about that excess lube. That's not going to hurt you, just leave it in there, okay? Now, I can take my locking nut like this, feed it over the handle, and then just hand tighten it down, hand tight. Don't crank it down any further than that, okay? Sometimes people are like, well, it's been on there for so long. That's because you haven't maintained the backwash valve, okay? Hand tight, and then I can twist it, make sure that works. If I want to, I can test it. Oh man, that's as smooth as butter. Okay, once I do that, what I wanna do is I wanna fire my pump up just to make sure that it primes and I haven't got a bunch of air trapped in there. There will be some. I fire it up, it's gonna prime, and then I'm back in business. So there you have it, folks. That is my video on how to maintain your backwash valve. And again, doing that is gonna provide you years and years of trouble-free use. Don't wait too long to lubricate those O-rings. The moment you feel them getting sticky, lubricate those O-rings immediately, not the next time, okay? All right, I hope it made sense. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them in the comment section below this video. Or if you'd like, you can email me directly. My email will come across the bottom of the screen. It is kennypoolschool@gmail.com. Once again, kennypoolschool@gmail.com. I want to thank you once again for watching. Remind you to like, subscribe, and share. And if you haven't done so already, check out my member website, poolschooler.com. And until we meet again, remember to have fun, be safe, and always watch those kids and elderly folk and pets around water. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.